A pleasant day, everyone. This is Ronami L. Ramirez, your science teacher. Today we are going to talk about animals. Animals are divided into two groups, the vertebrates and the invertebrates. The difference between this group of animals is the presence of backbones, wherein the vertebrates it has backbone and the invertebrates don't have. So, let's talk more about vertebrates. Vertebrates are animals with backbone. The presence of backbone is a common characteristic of a vertebrate animals because the backbone provides extra support and houses the spinal cord. At the end of the spinal cord is the enlarged brain. The animals that you can see around you, most of them are vertebrates, like a dog, goat, snake, lizard, cat, fish, chicken, and many others. So these are some of the examples of animals with backbones. Now, vertebrates are classified into 5 groups. First is amphibians, bird, third is fish, fourth is mammal, and the last is reptile. Each of these vertebrates it has its characteristic. Now let's find out what is the characteristic of amphibian. Amphibians, they are cold-blooded animals. They breathe with lungs and their gills, and they also lay eggs. But their eggs is not covered with shell. Their eggs is some like jelly. And their skin is thin, soft, and slimy. They live in both land and water. And they have legs instead of fins. These are the examples of amphibians. We have frog, toad. The difference between these two amphibians, the frog and the toad, is their skin texture. The skin of the frog is smooth, while the skin of the toad is rough. It sounds like somewhat like it has a warts in the skin. Next example is the salamander. So that is the characteristic of amphibians. Now let's proceed to the characteristic of bird. Birds are warm-blooded animals. They breathe with their lungs. They lay eggs, and their eggs are made of shells. They have bills or beaks. It is for picking the seeds or cracking the seeds. They have feathers in their body coverings. They have also wings used for flying and tails for balance. And they have 2 legs. Examples of birds is the sparrow. Sparrow is a kind of perching birds. They have beaks which is hard or used for breaking the seeds. And Another bird is ducks. Ducks are water birds because they love to stay in the water and their food are bobbed-like feet, rather. And another is the ostrich. Ostrich is a flightless bird. They cannot fly because of their size and their weight, but they still belong to the bird because they have wings and their body covered with feathers. Next is the eagle. An eagle is a bird of prey. So they are kind of carnivorous animal. Next is the characteristics of fish. Fish are cold-blooded animals. They breathe with their gills. They lay eggs also, but not in shell. They have fins used for swimming. They live in water, both fresh water and salt water. Their bodies protected with scales. Examples of fish is the lamprey. Lamprey is a kind of jawless fish. They don't have jaws. Their mouth is like a disc-like shape used for sucking blood into their prey. And then we have shark. Shark is a cartilaginous fish. They have cartilages as their skeleton instead of bones. That's why they call the shark as cartilaginous fish. Then we have the bicolor parrotfish. It's an example of bony fish. Most of the fishes in the water, most of them are bony fish. Another is the characteristic of mammal. Mammals are warm-blooded animals. They give live birth, except for the monotremes mammals. Mammals have mammary glands to produce milk for young. Mammal, from the Greek word mamma, means milk. The body is covered with hair or fur and breathe with lungs. Examples of mammals are in these pictures is the chimpanzee and the human. This is a example of placental mammals. Placental mammals because the young or the fetus is growing in the uterus and they get the nutrients from their placenta. Another is the koala bear and the kangaroo with the jaw. There are marsupial mammals. Marsupial mammals because they have pouches in their tummy where the young one stays until it reaches the ages of adult or that can survive in environment. Then last is the platypus and the spiny ant eater. Those are the monotreme mammals. Monotreme mammals, the only mammals that lays egg. Why mammals? Because they most of their characteristic is that most of their characteristic is in reptiles, but they have mammary gland but not so developed, but still they provide milk to their babies. Last is the characteristics of reptile. Reptile is a cold-blooded animal. They also lay eggs and shell is leathery. Their skin is dry, scaly skin and hard scales. They breathe with their lungs. They live both water and land. Example of this is the crocodile, the lizard, the turtle, and the snake. So these are the characteristics of a reptile. So those are the 5 groups or classifications of vertebrates, animals with bones.